Hey guys, welcome back. So I realized that I have not posted anything on this car since I put the engine in. Let me zoom out here a bit. So long story short, it's running pretty good. I have been sort of using it as a daily. That is the ultimate goal, but obviously if the weather's nice out, I try to drive the Miata, but this thing runs pretty good. It cold starts pretty well. Sometimes I have a few little issues and hiccups with it, but they're all pretty easy to get around. And yeah, it's running great. The fuel mileage is pretty good. And I have to kind of retrain myself because I'm the type of person who likes to keep the revs up and near the power band. If you do that with this engine, not only does it make less power, but you also get worse fuel mileage than the stock engine. But if you're willing to let the RPMs be lower and use the torque on the highway, I've seen 30 miles per gallon out of it, which is pretty impressive, I think. So there's a couple downsides to the setup. The hill climb assist doesn't work. The check engine light does not work. The tire light works, but the sensors are bad in my car because it's old. But traction control does still work, as well as the ABS, which is cool. And yeah, I mean, it runs great. It's got a pretty cool launch control. Like I know it's not got a turbo on it, but the two-step does work. And yeah, fuel system works great. I mean, you can see it's dusty in here. I drive it, so. The intake came together really nicely. We were able to use the original, well, not original, but the Cobb airbox for my SF intake, and the bracket that the old intake used, we reused. So that worked out pretty good. You can see there's a ton of room in here now. Like, it's pretty easy to get to anything you need to get to. It couldn't be more easy to work on, and that was really my goal for this thing. So we were able to make a lot of things work that really shouldn't have worked. The radiator cover, I was able to modify it a little bit to be able to clear the two inlets for the radiator, and that required some cutting and bending. And this as well, we were able to retain, which took some work. Like, it doesn't just go into place. I mean, for the most part, the work was all on this piece, not on this piece, but making that all work was quite a bit of work. Same with this. I made an aluminum adapter bracket so that I could keep my old Perrin alternator cover. And yeah, it looks pretty natural there. So there's only a couple of things I've got left to do to it. I need to get the connector for my AC compressor. I have it because I have the original AC compressor to the car, obviously, but I didn't really want to cut it. It's a low mile AC compressor, so I need to go out to the pick apart yard and then cut the connector off of one out there so that I can have this wiring look all nice and fancy. Right now I just left this blue wire long so that I could cut it to the length I need later, and I just shoved it inside the connector and taped it, and that's the trigger for the AC compressor. But it works for now, you know, so it's not the prettiest, but we'll just leave it, and once I get a connector, we'll make it look nice then. AC hoses, AC all works. The high side hose here, this is just the factory hose off of a 2009 Legacy 3.0R. And it just basically bolted right up. I think I had to drill out the bolt hole, maybe, if I remember right, but it wasn't much if I did. That could have been a different project. I don't super remember now, but I know I had to bend this hose a little bit to make sure that it didn't touch anything. But again, that's kind of normal with these hoses. With the factory one, it might not have even needed it. This is like a 4 Seasons one off of Rock Auto. Same deal with this hose. This hose we had to modify. So the piece up here, that's the original piece from my WRX, and we chopped the hose. And then this piece is the original piece that came with the engine that I bought. So when you buy one of these engines, you want to make sure that they give you the pieces for this, because what we did was I had a shop here in town that does semi-truck air conditioning systems and does custom stuff. Cut the ends off of the hose, and then they braze on new crimps, and then you can have them cut whatever length hose you need. And yeah, it just works. This piece of rubber hose was actually off of the factory one, and I just adapted it onto the new hose. And yeah, works out really, really well. AC blows nice and cold. Let's see what else. I only have a couple of things left to do to it besides the AC wire connector. I need to get my PCB stuff run to the catch can. I just haven't done that yet because AN stuff's expensive. But yeah, it shouldn't be too big of a deal to set that up. And once that's done, and once this wire is done, the only other issue that I have is I switched the transmission mount from the stock really soft rubber mount to the Group N 5-speed trans mount, and I really want to change the engine mounts on this engine from the oil-filled EZ30 mounts to like an aftermarket mount, because it shakes a lot. I don't really feel like for a manual transmission application where you're going to be shifting gears, the oil-filled mounts are not a really good option. So I'm going to try to find the softest non-oil-filled mounts that I can. I really don't want to go for like a Delrin mount because they'll be not compliant enough for a daily. But I need something that's, you know, the engine's not going to be rocking over super hard. So once I change that, I need to go through the exhaust that we had made and do a little bit of modification to it because it bangs the car occasionally. So, but other than those couple of things, the car's running great. Really don't have any issues with it at all. It does kind of hunt a little bit for its idle. It's kind of weird. I'm not really sure what the cause is. The AFRs look great, but occasionally, you can hear it kind of idling up and down like the AC's on, which it is not. But that's probably just a little bit of a tuning bug that we have to work out over time. But I mean, other than those couple of things, it runs absolutely flawlessly. I don't have any complaints with it at all. Really good swap, and the thing sounds amazing. So once it's up to temperature, let's see where we're at here. 168. So not super warm yet, but I put two-step on, and then I've also done rotational idle just for fun. Obviously that's not on right now because it's not really a feasible way to drive the car around. But yeah, so I just wanted to show that, yeah, it's all up and running. It runs great. Really, really fun car to drive. The sound is so good. Really, really like it. So eventually I probably will turbocharge this car again, but it's going to be after we change it from a 5-speed to a 6-speed, obviously. They will take a decent amount of power, so not a ton. I mean, we'll definitely have to keep it under 400 foot-pounds, but I mean, I think we could max out the stock WRX blue injectors that are on this easily enough. That should be somewhere over 300. But the exhaust that we made, where it follows the factory WRX routing, where they come together. Oh, I guess I can show that a little bit. I mean, the under tray's on, but you can see we did an equal length header here. I had to cut the under tray a little bit to make it fit. But so it comes from the side over here, and then this side over here comes up, around, and then in, and then they both come together and go up over the above the subframe, like the factory WRX does. And we managed to keep that routing because I wanted to turbocharge it eventually, and the up pipe that we used is pretty restrictive for NA. It's 2.25 inch, but that's actually the perfect diameter to keep your air velocity for running a turbocharger with this engine. So whenever we do get around to swapping the 6-speed in, we should be pretty well set to go as far as the exhaust goes. We just have to cut it basically in the engine bay, route it slightly differently for like a 2 or 3 inch section, and then have a turbo outlet for the turbo inlet, and then we can fabricate a downpipe. But yeah, I think it'll work pretty good. But for right now, my whole goal was just to get this car back on the road, get it running reliably, and I think we're pretty much there. I need to get the catch can done before winter because the valve cover breathers and the breather, there's only one, and the PCV are both on this side of the car, and right in front of me is the intake for the vent. So occasionally you get a big nasty smell of engine oil. So hopefully when we get the PCV routed back over to where it normally will sit, that'll make it to where we don't have oil vapor smell blowing in here. So that's kind of annoying, but I'm planning on doing the catch can hoses here real soon. I mean, the catch can is the old one that I had on the Evo before I made the custom one. So you know, I had that laying around, so we're just gonna make some lines to adapt it, and you saw I got it mounted to the firewall pretty good. So yeah, we're just about there. But anyway, I think she's warm enough now. We can hit the launch control once or twice so you can hear that, and then I'm gonna go and get some lunch. Yeah, she sounds pretty good. No turbo to spool, but I mean, why wouldn't I turn that on? Because it sounds great. So anyway, that's all I got for you guys for this time. But yeah, I'm real happy with it. We're back on the road with this car again, finally, after 3 years. So I'm happy. Anyway, yeah, that's all I got for you guys for this time. So we'll see you in the next one. Later.